Hey everyone, welcome back to 3D6 Down the Line, the most criminally underwatched actual play series on the internet. We are continuing on with episode 64 of our Megadungeon crawl, The Halls of Arden Vul by Richard Barton, using the old school essential system by Necrotic Gnome. My name is John, I'm your referee for the evening, and tonight we have a very small house.
But a very important house, John. We've cut away all the dead wood.
We are riding the lightning from here on out, baby.
I am Mike. Tonight I'm going to be playing my 5th level assassin, Darius Vile. Darius Vile.
I'm David. I'll be playing the 3rd level magic user, Isophase. And for our listeners, I highly suggest bringing up a YouTube doubler and putting on Megadeath for the remainder of your listen at about a 10% volume level, just to really, set the tone.
Normally we would have Matt and Ted, but they are both dead to us tonight, although one of those two may pop in if they can get their act together. But apparently, eclipses take precedence over D&D, so what are you going to do?
I don't believe in science. That's absurd. Flat earther. Sorry.
Yeah, I've taken notice. I forgive, but I never forget.
It's like my life.
So it is the 6th of Gelenios. It is approximately 11 a.m. down in the Goblin Halls. So currently where we are, Darius is actually back up in the debouchement, but because the debouchement connected to the wet caves, connected to the Goblin Halls, is what is encompassing right now, currently, the safe haven, they have the ability to basically switch out characters between those, although we still have to account for the time it takes to get those characters, all unified. So there is quite a large amount of depth in between the debouchement and the Goblin Halls, so they will have to account for that should they wish to form this party. As we said last time, Isophase is in XP waste territory. So because he played his entire 2 sessions ago, David wasn't with us last time, but 2 sessions ago he played Isophase at level 2. He now bumps up immediately to level 3, and he has to play this session, and then he immediately bumps up to level 4. That's how much XP This is all. What do you call it? Ripple effect from the vault heist XP that was gained. So Isophase is still in waste territory, but. Okay, so in the Goblin Halls, right now, I guess, Mike, you're sort of technically playing Lothar until you guys kind of get your acting gear. So it's 11 a.m., and you have spoken to Sir Sorrow. You have taken over the quarters of Sir Sorrow for your own, although you haven't refurnished it yet. And you've learned a whole bunch of information. So what do you do?
So, David, we're just going to skip right to our plan, right? We're not going to go back because there was a lot of discussion, excuse me, this week on the Discord about talking to some of the NPCs in the Goblin level a little bit more extensively. We felt we kind of missed some opportunities there. The merchant that we never talked to, the sobbing merchant, being the number one. And then because you weren't here, there's probably like 5 things that you kind of were like, you guys didn't talk to him about that. We didn't talk to the Lizard Man Prince. We think he's a prince kind of thing. And we didn't really approach the king at all about getting the Beast Man released to us for like help. Are we going to engage in any of that at all? Or do we want to wait until everybody's back together and let's go do our thing?
I think that it's safe to ignore most of them for now.
Okay.
I would say that I think, though I don't have an immediate use for it, we should go get the magic pebble because I think it's an incredible magic item. We can do that very cut and dry. And I also think we need like some adventuring gear for some of the plan I was trying to hatch. I'm assuming that's accessible in here.
Some of it is, yeah.
Yeah. So we can discuss that.
John, can I ask you a question about the pebble?
Mm-hmm.
Is it big enough to be a sling stone?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So under its magic spell, like if you throw it, it'll come back to you?
That's what Master Life Cream basically told you. In general, you only got like a diegetic explanation of what he thinks it does.
David, what if we cast light on that pebble and then use a sling to whip it down at somebody or like whatever, and then it eventually comes back to you?
I mean, I would love to, we do in character go to ask him a couple questions about it. What I'll say too is like where my mind immediately went. We talked a little bit on our Discord is like any number of like trap mechanisms for a Rube Goldberg situation where the pebble is sort of like the key piece that I can retract becomes really exciting. So what an amazing item. But point to answer your question, Mike, and to get going is I think a very brief conversation with a couple merchants and nothing else, and then just keep going.
So then let's go ahead and do that. I already ran the roost down there. So, and hey, Mike gets a second shopping episode. Yes. So please go drive, and I will follow behind you as Brother Lothar and not say loud.
For sure. Actually, I did have. I just columboed us, John. Just to clarify, if I did want to scribe Phantasmal Force to my book from Onweir's book, that would take a day's time. It's like 8 hours or something like that. Correct?
Yeah, I don't think we ever came down with a firm ruling on that. How long
what
it would
level
actually take?
spell is it?
Phantasmal Force.
Yeah, what level spell is it?
First level. It's first level. Well, let me double check. Don't hold me to it. I think it's first level.
I mean, I think like just a hard fast rule of thumb would be like 1 day per level. That'd be
it's second. It's second level. I lied.
So
would you find 2 days of waiting risky? It's almost certainly going to mean Gerrilad's going to be there. So we can go without it. Let's just try it without. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's do it live. Okay.
You swap to your character that can cast it already.
I don't have one that can cast it already.
Oh,
my dear boy. My dear boy. Okay, let's get moving. Okay, so John, I would love to awake from my comatose, as my face, and go, Susara, where are you? Where are you? I had the worst of dreams. And trot over to the market to talk to the magic vendor, Mr. Life Cream.
Okay, so just be aware that he is not a magic vendor. He just has a couple of odd curios that he was willing to give up. Just I don't want anyone to get any impression that we are in some sort of world where you can buy magic items in some sort of economy. That is not the case.
Yes. Say more.
Yeah. So he does have, if you're willing to trade for it, he has this pebble. And he tells you that it comes back no matter what. And if you're interested, you must ask to be given it prior to purchasing it. He says rather strangely.
So that's super interesting. And ask him, like, if we were to use it as throw it, would it come back? Like if we were to use it as a sling?
After some time, he says, yeah.
Ballpark that for us?
He's not sure. It was a curio. He doesn't really. He tried to get rid of it and he never could.
Okay, this is the crucial thing I was going to ask. How efforted were you in your attempts to get rid of this pebble, my friend?
It doesn't cause me any harm. So he was, it's like he tried to ditch it, but then it always just kind of showed up in his possession later. And then he just got kind of tired of figuring it out. And so, but it wasn't causing him any harm. So he's like, whatever,
Can you, for lack of a better word, summon it? Is there a way in which you can have it come to you immediately, or is it just that it appears?
No, he never tried.
I mean, David, do we need this thing right now? Or?
Okay, I do want this deeply, but I don't want to spend too much screen time workshopping it. So I'm going to pause.
How much does he want for it?
He wants something in trade.
I would give him I would give him a wand of detect evil.
Is it the cursed one?
It's not cursed. He will happily take that in exchange for the wand.
I could give him the cursed wand of alarms and not tell him, but I don't want to get in trouble. So
You're giving him an actual magical item. What else do you want from this guy? Because let's get all of it for a wand of detect evil.
Okay, so and he also had the fishing rod that I wanted, correct? Or
he did. He'd be willing to part for that for money, but he will. If you're offering the wand, he'll give you that as well.
And there are no other curios he has, correct?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll do it. Sure, I might curse myself, but I love that. So
okay.
I'm taking
one. He asked that you ask for the stone.
Me.
You asked for the stone.
Please, may I have the stone?
He gives it to you, and he takes your wand. So, and then you have this rod, kind of strange looking. It just says on either end there's like imprinted with a fish symbol that's sort of raised out of the bas relief on the very end of the end of the rod.
And there's no Mithric that I can see on it?
No markings at all.
Interesting. One last question before we go. I know we don't have any like identify capabilities, but could I, for the sake of it, bring out Iso's ring and say, have you ever seen a curio like this before? The disc ring of Isos?
He does not know of
He's
it.
never. No.
We do have an identify. You just got to go find Kerbo Khan and give him some of your blood.
Sure.
Correct.
Sure, of course. All right. So I think I'm done for now. Sorry for the lack of pageantry, everyone. But it has been a pleasure. You are, as always, my favorite person in town, but don't tell anyone else. And can we get some adventuring gear from another shopkeep around here? I want to get nets specifically. I want to get 3 nets.
Sure.
And some iron spikes. Okay. So iron spikes and a hammer, I suppose. 3 nets.
Yeah, they all cost 150% more than normal.
That's fine. What would that amount to? I can look on the adventure list. We have an abundance of gold, so that's good. Carcass crawler.
A net is normally 5, so the net's going to cost you
15 each.
150.
No, 7.5. 7.5 each. So 15, 22.5.
22.5 for the nets.
I can just give him 2 gold Solidai and see if he just takes that.
No, let's just give him 22 gold. I have 22 gold on my person. So and I mean, can we just take some spikes and a hammer out of Laurel's sack from that, or should we buy them? I mean, it doesn't really matter either day.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just do that.
Okay.
All right, so I have those things, and let's head to the pyramid, shall we?
Okay, so you need to so you're going to go back up. You're not going to do learning spells. You're not going to do portrait, any of that stuff that you had talked about earlier.
I mean, I'd love to, but I thank you for asking. I don't think I'm going to do that right now. No, I think I'm really on a mission with the clock with Gerrilad, so I want to get moving quick.
Okay. What if we? Okay. I'm thinking about like making it just generally easier to scribe spells. Keep research long and hard, but scribing might be. What do we think about like 1 turn per spell level to transcribe?
I'm not going to say no. I mean,
I might. I mean, I don't. And I'm not trying to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. I think a day a level is like seems reasonable. Like if it's a week per level to research. You're transcribing spells. Maybe there's some mitigating factors, like if you find like magic ink or a magic pen, or if it's from a spell book with a caster that's helping you.
Yeah,
sure. My counterpoint to Mike would be clerics get every spell instantly, and all of those spells are as powerful, if not more, than every magic user's spell. So if balance is your concern, in other words, if you feel like you have to,
it's a flavor thing. For me, it's more.
Then can I play to the magic gods? No, I'm kidding. It's fine. It's not the end of the world to me. If we can't. So I would rather John and you decide than I, because I'm the one that is benefiting from whatever.
If you're going to do anything, retcon the fact that he wasn't doing anything for like the last 48 hours that we were in Goblin Town or whatever it's been. And he did that. I don't know.
Sure. So you could, out of all your spells available and what the witch doctors could tell you, you could put 1 spell into your spell book.
All right.
So, Isocritus has levitate. You were talking about wanting levitate.
Yes.
So you could do that, or you could do a phantasmal force.
Okay. So that's great. So I think that if I'm just doing 1, I would do, let me just double check real quick. Levitate, move up and down through the air. Move laterally by pushing against objects. Mike, we can go invisible with the ring, so we can both be invisible. Levitate and floating disc is a really interesting combination for reasons we already talked about, right? Including me levitating and you sitting on the disc in the air.
Right.
I think that's really great if our goal is to rush Gerrilad first. If we're trying to talk to Trefco first, Phantasmal Force gives us an easier way of pulling him into the anti-magic field. What is your thought on that?
Excuse me. I think personally, I think Phantasmal Force might be a wider application spell, and also an escape spell. You know.
Okay, so I'll take Phantasmal Force for now.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I realized too that you probably don't have the time to memorize that spell though.
True.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. How about this? How about 1 hour per spell level to transcribe?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of over.
Right. How about we? As the one who would cast it, I'd rather die than spend 30 minutes discussing what's fair with the spells. So why don't we just do it live and discuss this off camera? We can figure it out if there's like a better way to do it. I'm okay with not having it for now.
Okay. So that said, you're going to go back up to the debouchement, right? So it takes about an hour to get all the way back up there if you're not stopping for anything. So you say goodbye to your companions. You tell them what you're going to be doing, and they are psyched for it, and they wish you the best of luck. So basically, Misophase goes up there by himself, right? Because Njal and Elizabeth aren't down there.
Correct.
No, Lilfar will go with him and swap out.
Okay. So yeah, the two of you guys head up there, and you get back into the debouchement. They're happy to see you. Bottleneck reports that the dragon appears to be in a bit of a tizzy up top. Like he and his wyverns are seen more often now in the skies, as if it's constantly searching, and that it's very, very unhappy. In fact, they've lost a couple of goblins who have idiotically gone beyond the borders of the top of the pyramid and went down the steps at nighttime and were snatched, never to be seen again.
Is Lyda okay?
Light is okay, but she is very, very, very terrified. But a lot of the party is still up there, so you do see that Hjalti and Harold have taken off. Like, they basically decided to skip town, go their own way. Sam is still there, and Darius is still there, of course, and Upior and a whole bunch of people. So you pick up Darius. Darius is super psyched to be given this mission, and off you go.
Yep. I'm going to put... Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, John, is there an opportunity here for Darius to use his disguise ability, one of his assassin abilities that I've never actually been able to use? Like, is there a disguise, David? I can make myself look like any other like type of person. I can't make myself look like a monkey, I don't think. But I could make myself look like Isocritus or Gerrilad or you know what I'm saying? Like, if you do a specific person, I think the chance of being detected is higher. If you change your class, race, or sex, you add a plus 2% detection per change. But the starting chance is like 2% of detection. It's like really good. It's like,
you're good at it, baby. All right.
But what would I do that would not get us murdered? You know, that would maybe just give them a little bit of a pause to not murder us.
Look like Gerrilad is the answer. It's the only good answer to that.
Do you still have his robes? I
have Isocritus' stuff, not Gerrilad's. I could give you Isocritus' robes, and you could fully look like Isocritus, which would give him pause. But I do think their loyalty is more to Gerrilad. But do you want to do it? Why not, man? I mean, it's a fun idea.
What's the harm? It can't hurt us. And
sure,
right. All right.
So why don't you take Isocritus' robes, pop them over your clothes? We got to be fast anyway, right? And then you can do an ISO disguise.
All right, John, I'm going to try and disguise myself like Isocritus from the description that I got from Avaricius.
Okay.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So the detection chance, I'm changing my class, but I'm not changing my race, and I'm not changing my sex. But it doesn't really say specifically, like, if you're trying to make yourself look like someone specific. But what it is that now it's a 4% chance of detection per day. And then whatever penalty you would want to put on top of that for trying to be like, I'm Isocritus. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's not possible, then just tell me it's not possible.
No, it's definitely possible since you have all of his gear. So you do a pretty good job of being passed for. It does not account for your voice. So you can't really, if you open your mouth, it's pretty much a dead giveaway. But But yeah, it's pretty convincing.
Cool. And I'll practice my snotty Arcantian accent as we go.
Okay, cool. All right, and you head south.
You're muted, David. David's muted. Okay.
So
John can finish.
You head south to the pyramid, and you pop up in there, and you disappeared with the plunger. Correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so I would say by the time you travel up to the debouchement, put on the disguise. Go shopping back in the Goblin Halls, actually. That I'm going to call it about 1 p.m. by the time you pop into the other end of the pyramid in Plunger Town. Okay?
Perfect.
So let's start there. Where's my map? Where's my cursor? And that's the question. Here we go. Level that. Zooming in for the fine folks at home. Everything appears normal in the pyramid room. Oops. What do we got here? Yep. Okay. Walls decorated with frescoes of humans rising up from the ground and shedding their robes, beards, and canes. Room is unlit. There are wall sconces. And you got that pyramid, 40 feet tall. You're at the top of it, 40 feet up. The stairs are cut into the granite. And you're standing atop a small triangle of lapis lazuli.
Lovely.
Okay.
So
Let's light a torch.
yes, we'll light a torch. I would like
carrying
us
the torch?
to not me.
No, I think Niall's Elizabeth can carry the torch. Doesn't matter. Always have Elizabeth carry the torch.
Sure. Okay.
It's fine.
Oh, so we forgot to mention that too. So you're taking y'all and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Good to know. All right.
Neil and Elizabeth, and we're also taking the invisibility rings, one of which I will give to either of them. We think is appropriate. Elizabeth, I suppose. Who would you rather be blind, Neil or Elizabeth? Elizabeth, right?
Probably.
Okay. You hear nothing, although you're pretty used to hearing nothing in this particular part of the level.
Okay. What I would like us to do is approach the doorway, and it has been rendered at this point unless they've replaced it. So I'll keep Elizabeth around the corner so the light isn't cascading through the doorway, and I just want to sneak up along the right wall and sort of peek at an angle out the doorway.
And listen really well because we're going to hear
Very,
those
very
monkeys before we see them.
Okay. Yeah. So this room is the one that's lit by continual light, and it has the painted yellow tiles and everything. So it's like bright yellow. It's kind of very strange.
True.
And so you're just listening at the door. You're not actually opening the door. Is that correct?
The door does not exist, remember. Yeah.
The-
Tresco busted it down in our chase ages ago.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So I just want to look kind of at a 45-degree angle out the corner on one side and maybe peek the other side. I have a mirror. I guess I could do one of these, just to see if I see any movement in the dark.
You do not see any movement.
Okay. Can I spend a turn just listening?
You certainly can.
Do I hear anything?
You do not. You can roll if you like.
Sure. I guess I should do that, right? I don't even know what my listen at doors is anymore. Let's see. It's a 3.
It's going to be a
The
1.
3? Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
you did not hear anything.
I don't hear anything. Okay. So I recommend we leave Elizabeth. Mike, do you want to bring both of them with us to the anti-magic room or leave one in the pyramid room?
I think we need to take both of them with us because our escape, if we get cut off from the pyramid, is to go to the secret door.
Okay.
And the last
John,
thing we want to do is let those guys, be standing here waiting for us while we're running for the other place.
agree. John, can I ask one more rules clarification? Because I was just skimming through the druid spells. Invisibility to animals, level 1. Spell renders the subject undetectable to all senses, smell, sight, hearing of a non-magical animal. Though we don't know for sure. I'm assuming these apes are magical of some sort. Would you think that, Mike? I don't know.
I don't think they're necessarily magical. I think they're
what classifies them as magical, I guess is what I'm wondering.
I think anything that's more of like an aberration or something like that, or a dragon, I would say is patently magical. But a mutated monkey, probably, I don't know, probably not. It's still a good. It's a really good thing to throw on there. How long does it last?
It only lasts a turn, and it's only a single. It's the cast or a creature touched. So, for instance, they could touch you, and you go run to the left real quick and scout out. But you're already invisible, so you don't really need it.
Well, I'm not using the cloak yet, but yes, I can use the cloak for that.
Alternatively, you know what? I think she should use it on herself. Okay.
Yes, I think it's a escape plan for her.
Yeah. So let's save it for now. I'm going to suggest we one by one, without light, dart out the door and head to the left to room number 4 here, the anti-magic room.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of I'm going to peek with my mirror to the right, see if I see any movement. If I don't, I'm going to, kind of left.
And John, we want to pause at the hallway to the north to make sure there's no one there. And pause to that room that we have marked as 5, to that hallway there, and make sure there's no one in there. And I have not activated Valero's cloak yet, David. All right.
Yes, that's fine. We're all visible right now.
It's dead silent and dark in the hallways. Behind you, as you emerge out into the hallways quickly, you can see that there is the beam of sunlight that is shooting down, very strong. It is just kind of past midday-ish from the east. However, it looks completely dark towards the well, actually that's not true. As you run towards the anti-magic room, you do see the familiar I guess we never answered that, but whatever. You see like the light and there's a crackle of energy so that you can kind of hear coming from that area. You do not see anything coming from the darkened corridor to the north, nor to the room to the south before you approach that room.
Okay. Shall we continue? Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
What is your guys' movement rates? What's the slowest movement rate?
That's a good question. I have to look
Darius
at
is at 90. Niall is at 90.
Both me and Elizabeth are 120.
So 90.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you step into that room. It's 20 feet tall. It's lit with continual light. There is the fresco of an ibis that is occupies the entire western wall. Maybe more attentive viewers or listeners than us can remember whether or not the coconut-sized lumps of arcanum are still in those eye holes. Be good to know. But in addition, on the south wall there are 3 blocks of granite that protrude from the wall. Each of them is 6 feet wide, 3 feet tall, and 3 feet deep, and they have been carved to resemble open mouths, complete with hints of teeth. However, their open mouths are all completely dark. You, I guess, back in the day had, I think, listened very carefully, and you could hear like wind coming from the middle one, and so you went in there, and that was where what you guys have been calling the God phone is. Carved on the floor in front of the mouths is a phrase that says, "Those who would seek Thoth's knowledge must possess the wisdom to follow his breath." Let's see. I believe that there was. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's it.
John, I'm going to take a piece of chalk because we never tested it, though I'm sure it will behave like other void type things. And on the left and right mouth portal, I just want to stick a little bit of the chalk stick in and see if I pull it back out, if it's, cut in twain or anything like that.
We're all going to stand off to one side when he does that, because that is like recipe for a lightning trap right there.
The middle
They're all
one?
portals though, right? They're all like sort of dark.
Yeah.
I don't understand what they look like correctly. I'll ask another question before I do it. The same thing within the pyramid, the statue with the gaping maw had a void-like center, and I stuck a torch in it back in the day, and it basically like hefted the torch in half. Is it a similar appearing void here as I saw there? You know what I'm referring to?
No, I don't.
The secret compartment within the pyramid, the plunger pyramid,
Yeah.
had a large, the frog species statue with an open mouth that was gaping, that had like a portal. I'm calling it a portal, but it had like an empty void in it through which I stuck a torch. And when I pulled it back out, like the torch was like cut in half or something like that, I think. I'm trying to see if the same is true of these.
No.
And if they appear similar in terms of their like,
I don't know if they appear
shimmer?
similar or not,
I don't
but
know.
they're but nothing like that will happen to you.
Is there a back? Like if we do take something longer, like a torch, an unlit torch, and we poke it into those mouths, does it hit something? Like it's like they're fake, like they're made to look like a portal, but they're just like a little cave space.
Is there? I'm sorry. What now?
If I take a torch, which I'm assuming is about yay long or so, and jam it into one of the mouths, it's not the portal mouth. Does it go donk, donk, donk and hit like the back of like a wall or something? Is it like,
no?
Are they shallow? Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't hit anything. But your torch completely disappears in the darkness. You can also tell too that when you kind of step up to the portals, that all sound that you're making disappears.
Oh. Fast.
When he retracts the torch, is it whole still?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, well, let's leave this for now. I know. Oh, words I never want to say.
All right.
Let's all jump through the center one.
Wait, are we going to the God phone?
No. Do you still want to do the net thing just in case?
Oh, right. For some reason, I thought you meant to do that at the entrance to the anti-magic room.
No. Okay, so for the listeners, as a contingency,
sure.
I had the notion that if we had to flee, because we're trying to maybe get Trefco to come in here and see if it affects his, mentality, though it'll be hard to do because he avoided it before. But if he comes raging at us, we can jump into the portal, though it's a dead end. What I would like y'all to do once we jump through, I have 3 nets. So I want it to be like a dense, sort of cascade. 3 nets. I want to hammer an iron spike at 4 corners on the opposite side, right where the portal comes through, and hitch the net on 3 of those corners, right, with 1 being loose. And what I'd like y'all to do is basically chill here, or Elizabeth, whichever one, while we go and try to get Trefco here. And if things go south, we can jump through, and then he can immediately throw the other corner of the net on that other spike. Does it make sense? So that they come through, they're hitting net. Yeah.
It totally makes sense. My only concern again is just leaving somebody behind, because what if we get cut off? What if there are 50 monkeys between us and the plunger at that point?
I'm fine with it. We don't have to do this plan. This plan is contingent on us not going far. We're intentionally trying to bring them here. In other words, so I could literally be like, Trefco, if we wanted to be that literal. I don't think we should, right? But I'm thinking we just set this up as a contingency, whether we use it or not. We scout maybe to the center room, see if we see Trefco, right? If we do, we try to get them to come to us. If we don't, we can get y'all to join us or something like that.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure, please.
Or just plan ahead. Since my disguise goes away if I speak, can we kind of come up with I have an idea for a story. I'll stand there silent, and then you will say that my powerful magics return me from the grave, but I've lost the ability to speak, and you are the voice of Isometric. Where's Gerrilad?
That's fun. I'll do it. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, cool.
All right.
What about the sound that you're going to make with the iron spikes in the wall?
Well, it's a magical portal. I don't think sound will travel through the portal.
Okay.
That's my suspicion, because remember John just said we couldn't, our own sound was dampened when we were near them. I don't think there's any sort of sound transference. I could be wrong.
I love that.
All right, so we can stake them in just to set that up. We may never need them, but I just want to have a contingency.
Wait, so you're going through the portal?
No.
We're going through the portal. Sorry, John. I'll say it one more time. We're all going to go through the portal. Okay. On the God phone side of the portal, here.
I'm just saying that doesn't just happen automatically. We have to kind of see what happens. So when you go through the mouth, you step into darkness, and it leads to a long stone staircase that descends 150 feet before eventually emerging into that room. So
we don't want to go to that room, though.
So you want to stay at the top of the steps?
What I'm saying is I'm trying to create a net flush with the other side of the portal.
Yeah.
Like if I were to stick my arm from the opposite side in, I would hit the net, right?
So here's the deal. If you put it right on the other side of the portal, you will see no one coming in because it's completely darkness.
Is it magical darkness?
Yes. You determine that from the other side.
Right. And then David, would Trefco even fit into this? Because John, isn't it really tight? Isn't it like hands and knees kind of thing?
Yeah, it's pretty tight. Anyone could probably get in there if they were hunched over and kind of put themselves they could make it work. What I'm saying though, David, is that you could make your plan work if you were willing to attach the nets to I don't know, 4 parts of the wall on further down the stairs, or where the stairs empty out into the oracle room. That's
David, what if we did it back in the anti-magic room? What if we did some on the ceilings so that we could drop them if he's chasing us on top of him? You know what I'm saying?
I love what you're thinking is. I'm just gonna take it one step further because we're worried. I'm just trying to spitball because good. Thank you, John, for raising that. That's all very smart. Revising my thought process real quick. I don't know if we could properly conceal the nets on a floor, but there's maybe value in putting them essentially at the threshold. So if Trefco or someone else does not want to come in, we pull it and we force them in. And so the question is there a way to do that? We have rope, we have nets. How can we make I got it. Elizabeth has obscuring mist.
Yes.
So what we'll do is we're going to put nets. Again, I'm not that it maybe functionally makes a difference, but in my mind, I'm like, these are big apes and baboons. I'm gonna do 3 nets like stacked, right? I want it to be really dense, right? Can we cinch each corner so it functions as one and put it on the floor, right? And let's have ropes pulled into the anti-magic room, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just as a setup, Lisbeth and Neil at the ready in there. Lisbeth will cast Obscuring Mist if I don't know, whistle, right? When I'm running this way, thereby making us run through and obscuring the fact there's a net there, and Trefco will hopefully step in the net and we can pull them in.
I love that.
You want to try that?
Yeah, let's do that.
All
and
right.
then just remember, obscuring this stays on Elizabeth. So she moves, it moves.
Perfect. Right. I mean, that's better for us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can never dismiss it, but that's really good. So
we are
that'll be our plan.
We are leaving them here then, right?
At least for this moment, until we call them, I think we leave them both right here in the anti-magic room.
Okay. I think we try to talk to him first with our little plan that I'm Isocritus returned from the dead and that you are the voice of Isocritus. Where's Gerrilad? We have to talk to him kind of thing, right?
I agree with the caveat that he can outrun us and probably tear us apart in one attack. Yes. So
you can
initiate.
Both be invisible.
What's that?
We could both be invisible, right?
Well, we both should be invisible to start, but that's what I'm getting at. I don't want to start a conversation 200 yards from there. I'd rather have the conversation near this contingency plan if it's possible. We'll see. Let's just play it out and see how it happens. How about that? I hear you. I like your idea too. Okay, so we're gonna leave them there, John.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I am going to ask Niall to hold onto the rope because he doesn't need to see to pull the rope. Right. Engage the invisibility ring so he's blind and I'm invisible now. Okay. And I'll say if I go, pull the rope or something like that. I'll tell Elizabeth, same thing. If you hear me go, cast Obscuring Mist, right? And we will go scouting. Does that make sense?
Got it.
Okay. Let's go, Darius.
Let's do it, man.
Okay, so Mesophase is now invisible. So Darius, you're basically walking alone. You need light, though, Darius.
I will carry a torch.
You light a new torch?
Yes.
Because Elizabeth is in a room with continual light, so you could use hers.
That's true. And then I'll just take that one.
Okay.
How many turns are left on it?
I think after, I'll call it a turn for exploring the anti-magic room. So I'm going to say 4 turns left on the torch. You should be aware.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I just saw that Elizabeth has a bullseye lantern. Can we do a lantern instead? Because then we can close it. Instead of torch.
Sure, yeah.
Sorry to be annoying.
We'll leave them the lit torch, John, and then we will take the bullseye lantern.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
They're in a room with continual light, so it doesn't matter. So
yeah, I don't need it. I just because we can close the lantern, let's do that. Because if you pop your invisibility on, you want to close that light immediately, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so lantern.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry for all the setup, folks.
Okay, so also be aware that I'm going to call it that the Arcanum is still in the Ibis sockets. So after your 2 turns of being in that room,
Yes.
they crackle. And the let's see, just double checking here. Yeah. Okay. So the after 2 turns, the eyes, the Arcanum lumps actually flash sharply with a pink light, and a buzz of energy just sort of rips through the room like a visible thing of energy, and it. Let's see.
We have a TED. I don't have to map anymore.
No, you do. Ted's not a janky laptop, bro. You still got a map.
Oh, that's true. I'll map. That's fine.
Well, that's going to be an issue, actually.
What? Bye, Ted.
Okay, that's just actually none of the Ted's here. It's actually pretty close to our first break, and I need to look something up. So why don't we call it for a break, and we'll be right back.
Cool.
Okay, we are back. Beer's empty. I'm sorry, bladder's empty. Beer's full, and we also have a Ted. So
Ted.
Mort magically
Ted.
pops into existence because I'm all about the verisimilitude. So Mort's there. Okay, so now there is Isocritus and Mort are the 2 that are visible moving through here now. So what's the plan?
Well, as the invisible party, should I scout forward?
So now, don't forget, we now actually have somebody with infravision. So does he scout forward?
Of course. By the way, Ted, terrible decision to join on the session that we're both going to die in.
Yeah,
you should not have showed up. I thought you were spared of this. Oh no! I'm doing a conference call. Oh no!
Come on, Ted. We all know that you're calling from the visitor center at County Rock, and you can't leave.
Yeah, if you would like to take so Ted, I have the invisibility ring. I'll pass it off to Ted if you want, and Njal is on the other side with it.
Say that again.
The invisibility ring, the blind / invisibility ring.
You're not using the cloak?
I'm using the cloak,
Darius,
but I'm not invisible yet, right?
The ring. Okay.
So you take the ring, you scout ahead. David will be visible. I'm visible. David is the mouth of Isocritus, the Lich, and you will let us know before we run into monkeys.
Wait, how is David invisible if I've got the ring?
He's not invisible. He's the mouth of the Lich, Isocritus.
Okay. All right. Fine.
All that matters is you're scouting ahead a few yards, and we're in the dark behind.
Okay. So where do you go?
A lantern that's closed. We're going to go due west, I'm assuming, to look at the central chamber. Yeah.
Yes.
Due east.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, go east. Yes.
Okay.
The central chamber, you mean where the disco ball goes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, starting there. Okay, fine. So yeah, Mort will move. Do you have a light source, Mike?
We have a bullseye lantern that is currently almost completely closed.
Okay.
Did you take that disco ball, by the way?
No.
I forgot about the disco ball.
Dude, we got to
think-
have a lot of people to bring that down here.
We did not.
Yeah.
Matt's point about not losing it and doing it with the continual light later made a lot of sense. So I say, yeah, we don't have it. So if Mort moves ahead far enough that he can usefully do some scouting, but can still see the hooded lantern sort of behind him, kind of that little blip of light.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to get too far ahead. So 60 feet or so, looking, left and right and up, down corridors and so on as he's moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. So you go back the way that you came. You see the continual light emerging from what you know to be the broken down doorway leading back to the pyramid, which is where you came from. Ahead of you, you can see the sheer beam of sunlight that's coming straight down the well. You do not see any forms crossing across from there, nor do you see anything on the passages that lead southeast, and northeast as well, past the stations that you're aware of. The only thing that you're seeing that there's any sign of baboons is like a pretty copious amount of, feces and food parts and hair and things like that, are still scattered about, but no signs of any baboons themselves. And it's still very, very quiet. And so you emerge safely more into the well of light itself. You are still pretty well hidden in shadows because that light is so focused.
Right.
But it is there. It is shining down.
Okay.
Bro, should we just take a turn to listen here? Because let's just take a turn to listen, because we'd probably be able to get audio from the corridor to the north to the throne room and audio to the south to the library and to the unexplored east,
Absolutely. Yeah, what we want to do is triangulate where they are because we're pursuing them. So absolutely, let's listen here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
Takes a turn to get there.
Okay, yeah. So here's what I want to do, John, is move to like right here, so that if someone is looking down a corridor, they don't see us behind the light.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of off to the side a little bit and listening.
And David and I will be waiting, like not inside the sunlight room. We'll be like down the hall a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
It's been a while since you've been in this room, so just to be clear, it is also tiled in pale yellow squares from floor to ceiling, the same yellow tiles that were in the room leading towards the pyramid. And when you look up the well in the ceiling, it's bedazzled with a whole series of convex mirrors and reflective stones that have been carefully placed to focus the sunlight. Yeah, and there is that depression in the ground, which and I believe did you put together everything but the disco ball, like the tripods, like
yes.
So that it does appear to be in place still, but it is there's still like all that nasty muck and baboon hair that's sort of there. Yeah. Okay.
I seem to have misplaced my Wacom pen. I am here. I'm just going to grab it real quick. Sorry. Before we get to a place I have to map.
There are also wall sconces that exist in the room in equidistant spots as well, should you wish to put torches in them. Because right now I should make clear that the room is quite dark except for just that center beam. Made even more so because of the beam, right?
Right. Okay, so listening carefully.
Yeah, you listen carefully. Why don't you roll for me?
Mike, will you roll, because my dice roller's not working?
I got it, dude. I'm going to be rolling for Ted. I'll roll a D6. Ted, what do you need to hit for your listen?
I think it's the same as anybody else.
Okay, I rolled a 3 so that you hear nothing. Nothing, Ted.
Yeah.
Good job. Nice roll.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad to help out for the team.
What do you do?
Do we see any light sources to the north or south?
No.
Okay. Let's head south.
I think it's south, yeah.
Or do we fill in a little bit of that map and go east?
Well, where would Trefko most likely hang out? And I think it's
last
to
time we
this.
saw him, he was just walking around this room in here.
Patrolling north and south mostly, I think.
Probably. If he's even patrolling. I mean, he might just be in mourning for like his lost, I don't know, monkey friends or whatever.
Poor monkey friends.
I think we should keep our flanks protected.
Okay.
So I think assuring that we don't hear any obvious movement to the south that's going to come behind us when we're going into unexplored territory is a good idea. I don't disagree that we should explore eventually, but I'd rather really know I'm not going to get ambushed from behind, especially since we are divided between us and Colin and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going south?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you start to head south, and you reach the intersection there where the branching passageways. There's a bunch there. So which direction you want to go?
God. Are we going to the library, boys? Or are we going to?
It's not about
Gerrilad's quarters.
Why don't we?
Trefko would never be in the library. I mean, we're looking for him, right? Isn't that the whole point?
We want to kill Gerrilad and save Trefko if we can, in whatever order.
Gerrilad goes without saying, kill Gerrilad. I mean,
but I think checking the benefit of checking the library is we have a key. Mm-hmm. And no one else is going to come in it. So just knowing, and as long as we're quiet, that they're not in there is again another flank checked off. So why don't we go there first?
And we know that Butthole Isocritus was researching teleportation circle addresses. And what if there's a book we missed in there that has a whole list of them?
Not just that, I want to, at least if we can, get eyes on whether his corpse is still there or not in the back of the library.
Actually, that would be kind of nice to know. All right, you talked me into it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so let's head south. But listen at that crossway because we don't know what's to the west across from the...
Yeah, well, both crossways, because when we get down 30 more feet, then there's a corridor to the west we don't know about and a door to the east that we should listen at. So caution is our watchword here, John.
All right, so you get down to there, and then it takes another turn passes by the time you get down to that intersection. This is all kind of reminding you of times past.
Good old times.
Well, actually, it's reminding exactly
none of us. Oh, more. Yeah,
maybe more.
I've been here.
Yeah. So you see the great doors to the library in front of you. However, I don't know why this part of the map was screwed up. Maybe I just didn't relay it correctly. But across the hallway from the eastern door is another door, not a corridor.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
Now, behind you, up the corridor, and from that small, narrow passageway leading east, right, you hear somewhere down there behind you, you hear a door open and close.
Yeah, I thought so. I think that's probably because that's where the cook baboon lived. So that's probably also where Trefko and Cisco lived.
You can hear large, heavy footprints coming down that corridor towards the west.
Towards the west. Should we skedaddle it for the library?
Yeah, let's go to the library quick, like bunnies.
Okay, so you enter into the library.
Mort, you're invisible. Do you want to wait outside the library? We hide in there.
Yeah, go ahead.
And
this is what happened last time. Mort's never been in the library.
See which monkey it is, because if it's the cannibal cook, okay.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I'm just saying it's funny. This is exactly what happened when we went in the library. Mort stayed outside.
When you when you're like, oh shit, there I hear noises, and you run to the doors and you grasp them and locked.
We have a key.
We have a key. Yeah, I used the key.
Okay, they open up. All right. The library itself is lit with continual light, vaulted 10-foot ceiling, and there's no sign of Isocrisis' body there. However, you remember how strange it takes Darius and Misophase aback a little bit because of how strange it looks. But there's those 6 columns that divide the room from east to west, that divide like a reading area, and the stacks themselves. They're made out of black basalt, and they're carved with subtle arcane marks. And there is the librarian's desk that's in front of that. And there's 2 long oak tables with 5 chairs, and there are six cloaked figures at those tables, I believe, I can't remember if you did anything to those guys. But.
We spoke, and they all went batshit crazy and started running around going like, mimicking like something that they heard.
Those are different.
Those are different.
Yeah.
However, you do see those tiny little baboon cubs kind of flitting around the stacks.
Cool.
And everything is deathly quiet.
Can we move?
The folks collapsed or something. Did they not do that? I think they may have. Yeah. So actually, I'll say that the cubs are still swinging around the stacks quietly, but the weird cloaked baboons are gone. Okay.
I would like to first check the desk that was originally that all of our stuff was stowed in, just to see if anything has changed with it. Very quietly.
Librarian's desk, right?
Librarian's desk, yes. Is there anything on it? Anything has changed since we left, John,
No.
by chance? Okay. Why don't we go clockwise around the walls of the room into the dark of the back of it and see if Iso's corpse is there? Sound good?
Go, Ted, go.
Quick question. Teleport tiles. There's 6 for a given location, right?
Yes.
There's 6 columns right there. You should have a look at those arcane symbols and see if there's any clues about teleportation circles. Mort would suggest this, but he's out in the hallway looking for a monkey. So.
I'm down to do that as well. Do you want me to do that prior to looking at
do
the
whatever
books?
you want. Just an idea that I had. I didn't want to forget.
I love it. Can we do a quick? Well, I'll do it first. Sure. I'm going to go to each column and look at the writing. John, very quietly, very slowly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You can't really make heads or tails of it.
Okay.
Another Mort for the win.
Are there any colors affiliated with the pillars or the writing?
They're black. It's made out of black basalt.
Oh, you said that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go clockwise around the room, wall to wall.
Mm-hmm.
On the way, we don't have to do like a deep investigation, but if anything really like obvious or strange in terms of a book or an object is on one of the shelves, let me know. But I'm not like doing a hard investigation.
While you go clockwise, I'll go counterclockwise.
Sure.
And I'm going to be specifically, John, looking for books that might relate to the teleportation circles.
Yeah, okay. So to do a thorough search, I'm going to say it's going to take 2 turns. Is that okay?
Well, that's what I was asking. Do we really want to do a 2-turn search right now?
I do. We're here.
Let's
Let's
do it.
one will be back.
100%. Okay, so then I'll do the same, John. We'll spend 2 turns and just thoroughly check the shelves on either side until we meet at Isometric's corpse, I hope.
Okay, so you guys are being very, very quiet. And as you are stepping into the dark recesses with your lantern and looking at all the scrolls and books, those strange baboon cubs are very, very curious. And they kind of come up to you and they bare their teeth, but they stay a good distance away. You notice that none of them, they keep to the stacks. In fact, they never pass those pillars into the front of the room to the north. But they come right up to you. They don't touch you, but they look at you inquisitively. And as long as you keep your mouth shut, nothing happens.
Oh, yeah.
There is probably still a stain of blood in that one stack where Isometric was laid low. But anyways, during your search, your hearts leap up into your stomachs as from beyond the door to the north, you can hear the distinctive sound of multiple baboons careening through the halls, screaming in what appears to be joy and just like happiness and excitement. And there's a lot of them.
Mommy's home.
Yes. Okay, so
Ruh-roh.
Not only that, but just to further put the nail in your coffin, you find nothing of interest in the library.
Figured as much. Do we find Isometric's corpse in the
Oh,
library?
he said there was a blood stain.
Bloodstain,
Oh.
no corpse.
Okay, so the noises were heading in which direction? Could we orient where they were going?
They were coming
Well,
from
let's
beyond
see.
the door.
Just beyond
Let's
the
see
door.
what Ted sees. Ted, what do you see?
I spy with my little eye something beginning with B.
Are you outside the door?
Yeah.
I am outside the door, invisible and hiding, cowering in a corner as small as I could possibly be.
Okay, so you see, actually, before the baboons appear, you actually see the back of what appears to be one of the large forearm baboons. You can confirm that it's definitely not Tresco, marching up towards the Well of Light. As he approaches into the Well of Light room, the chamber.
Mhm.
Let me just get a look at my own map here. Yeah, so you see him stand there, and then another forearm baboon comes down from the south into the room. You're not quite sure who that is because it's at quite some distance away. But they meet up there near the center. They kind of stay out of the beam of light itself, but they face eastward. And as they do, they kind of hunch down, and a whole ravening horde of baboons are just like, and they come barreling out of the east, swarming around the 2 giant forearm baboons, and moving towards the west and the south. I mean, we're moving towards the west and the north, and actually coming down the south as well towards you.
All right. Bruh. Okay. So bugger. Yes, look at the time. I have to go. Okay, so all right. So I'm watching the 2 big baboons down there and they see all the baboons coming towards them, and they're like, it's friendly, right? It's not like there's a
Yeah, no, they
conflict
swarm
there.
all around them, seem to basically ignore them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but you see them; those two baboons are focused on the east, even after the baboons are like have started their streaming. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're
They're
looking at something and waiting for
particular.
something coming from the east.
Yeah, like Gerrilad.
Gerrilad.
Yeah. David?
Is there a window in which this occurs that you could either slink into the library or we could go to Gerrilad's quarters, or is it too fast, John, for us to really make a decision within that?
No, you could do whatever you want.
Well, this is my question here. So as they come swarming out, and you said they go east, they go north, and some of them come south. Is that right?
They're coming from the east, and they go in all other directions once they reach the well of light.
And so it's about, what is it? It's about 80 or 90 feet between the well of light room and this door to the library. So I think as soon as they start coming south, I need to just slip into the library and close it.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so they you close the door behind you. You can
tell
hear
the guys what's happening.
No, you can't say shit in here.
Yeah, you're right.
So you quietly close the door. You can hear the baboons from beyond. They do not like run into the door or anything like that. You know, it's the sound generally starts to dwindle out. Yeah,
okay.
This is being excessively cautious, but when he comes in the room and goes, and we know what's going on, turn the lantern off. Also, Misophase is going to climb one of the bookcases and get on top of it in the dark.
Don't forget that this has a continual light, so we probably have extinguished the lantern or at least shuttered it at this point, right?
Yes, but you'll recall from when we killed Iso that the back of it is in darkness.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
The back library. So I want to be in the back, and I want to climb up a case and like be on top of the case.
What if you set off the little monkeys by climbing up into their area?
I don't think I will. I'm going to try.
Let's do it.
I'm going to climb up and just be up vertical, basically be up and like quiet.
Okay.
That's it. I'm going to wait a little bit.
Okay. So how long do you guys wait?
Well, is this part of the 2 turns that we were supposed to be spending like searching the library, or is this immediately after that?
Basically right afterwards.
Okay. So I will go and we don't even know that you're there. You're invisible, dude. And you can't say anything.
Good point. I'm just going to stay at the door then with my head against it, listening to the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We would see the door open and close.
If we were there, we were searching the rest of the library.
It's fine. It's fine. You can go
Okay.
on knowledge.
All right.
You probably would have heard the little click.
I will go up to the doors, and then I'm not invisible. You can tap me on the arm or something like that. I don't know it's you.
I'm going to goose him.
Okay. Are there writing implements on the desk, John? Is there like inkwells and parchment? Okay.
There is, yeah.
So more you can write out what.
Ooh, spooky floating pen tells Mike a story.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Now I feel like we should know what's happening. So
okay, good. All right. So standing there and listening at the door, though, I hear monkeys getting closer and then spreading out, dispersing.
Pretty much, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like Gerrilad's home and the monkeys have just gone bonkers because they're so happy.
It sounds like the monkeys are faster than Gerrilad, and they came back here to tell Cannibal Chef guy and other big monkey that he's coming, right? Because they probably were expecting him. That's why they were waiting in that room looking towards the east. So we might have a little bit of time before he actually comes marching through the area, right?
I mean, we could go to his room and try and dry gulch him a second time. Just wait for him hiding in his little nest that he's got in there. And as soon as he comes in, what a day I've had.
Except for his screaming mushrooms.
Yeah, he has an alarm. He has an alarm on the door, which is really tough for someone. I don't think it's a bad idea to hide in that hall, but we don't know who might be escorting him. What I will say is, it might behoove us to just like wait for a half hour or something like that, right? Just so that they're not all like condensed and they've settled in their respective, rather than like catch them all meeting Gerrilad as a mass, like let the alarms go down. The other thing I'll say is Trefko was sad because he was gone. That's the answer to that question.
Yeah.
So we thought that might be the case.
Yeah, we assumed that, but it's not because of anything else that's occurred, clearly. So,
David, we could also wait until they all gather around Gerrilad to have a big monkey party, and then you shotgun the shit out of them. I was like,
I mean, I could. You know what else I could do? Depending on how we would do, but this is the whole thing, right? Like, this is really ridiculous, everyone. I'm sorry. I don't have levitate. However, I could be on top of a bookcase, and I could be facing opposite. I could be facing the wall with a floating disc behind me with several hundred pounds of books on that floating disc. And
remember,
you could bait him in. No, I know this is really convoluted, but you like it gives me verticality, and the floating disc is at waist level. And if I'm higher, we can use that as a trap as well. Right.
I always thought floating disc can be higher than like 3 feet off the ground or something like that.
So
if you summon it on top of the bookshelf, it would be 3 feet off the bookshelf.
I don't know. We need a ruling from the DM on that.
I mean, I'll read the spell right now. The caster conjures a slight concave circular disc of magical force that follows them around and carries load. The disc is 3 feet in diameter and 1 inch deep. It can hold a maximum of 500 pounds, not 800 pounds. It floats at waist height and remains level, floating along horizontally within spell range. So the question is, where's my waist?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, though I can't levitate, if we want a lateral trap, like when y'all dropped a rock on the lizard in a quiet room, this is a place to set a trap because no one is going to come through except Gerrilad, most likely.
So you're going to literally drop 500 pounds of books on them? That's like amazing. Yes. Like that
piano style. I would do it. So yes, that doesn't mean we can get him in position, but if you could bait him over there, and everyone's quiet, so they're nervous, but if you could bait him over there, it's an idea. Yeah, I don't think getting into his bedroom is possible.
Come in. It's assuming that he's going to come in, right?
Yes, of course. But
I think the wand idea is probably a more solid one, to be honest.
But of course, but guess what? I can do both.
Yes, it's true.
This is the whole thing. Well, I can drop the books, and if it doesn't work, shotgun. You know what I mean? Like, but being vertical is useful here because I want to be I want to surprise. You know,
here's the thing about the books, though, is I mean, and maybe I'm being obtuse. It sounds like that's something you would have to prep to take some time to put all the books in. And yeah, you got to do it now. And it's not something you can save for later if he doesn't come in. You've blown the spell, and
also I just realized I can't even cast a spell because I can't speak in here. So it's the whole thing is moot. I'm an idiot. Okay, so never mind. All right. Let's go kill him. Whatever. I don't know how. Let's just get the fucker. We can't probably sneak into his bedroom. Is there a bottleneck trap we want to try to use? Or do you want to, like I said, let it settle for a while and then scout when it's not like thousands everywhere? Because we're not going to be able to fight the baboons just in terms of numbers. So if we are beset by baboons, they need to be coming into like this room, into the library, or into like the magic mouth room or something like that, where we can retreat. Because again, like I was saying with the net thing, on that portal idea that we're not doing that's a small portal that we can like go through. Sorry, Ted, go.
You don't have a silent spell, do you?
No.
Not a scroll.
Clerics rock. I'll tell you what scrolls I have right now.
Okay, that's a great idia. The reason I was thinking is if you've got a scroll that would like open the door and blast the mushroom, it doesn't make any sound. Right? Because I remember when we were in there before, we had a chance to look around a little bit before it freaked out. So we've got because we got a description of the room. Yeah. I mean, we didn't do much, but I think we could open the door and eliminate the mushroom because we know it's there, right? Just boom, freeze it or silence it or something. And then, so it's an option, I think. So what scrolls have you got?
John, can you clarify for us that it was not an alarm spell, but the mushroom itself that raised alarms with noise?
Yes, it was a mushroom.
Okay. So then let's just fucking go really quickly over to Gerrilad's doors.
What have you got? Just so we can think about it.
Spell scrolls I have.
Yeah.
All right. Spells I have, ventriloquism, floating disc. That's it.
Okay.
Spell scrolls I have. Of course, I have the shotgun. However many,
charges it has. Right.
I have a scroll of magic mouth. I have a brainful of large spiders, though I think that might be illusionist only. Warding chain of glyphs, which I mean, problem is warding chain of glyphs. I have to check it again, but I think it takes a long time. That's like an ultimate trap death I didn't think about. Magic missile, sleep, raven feeblement, and that's it.
Ray of Enfeeblement on one of the monkeys is like a game changer. You should look up that glyph thing because we could put that on the hallway to his room and then he just explodes. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, dude. All
right. Can you teach the magic mouth to emit the same sound as the alarm of the mushroom, but the opposite wave harmonic, so the two cancel each other out completely?
I'll read Magic Mouth to you real quick. I mean, that's a wild idea. Only Ted. Okay, Magic Mouth, man.
It probably would not work because you have to tell it what you want it to say. I think.
Dude, shut up. It's like, I don't want to yuck your yum, but you know.
I think the wand is the way to go here.
But
okay, Magic Mouth. The caster imbues an inanimate object with a message that is to be spoken out loud by a mouth when a certain trigger condition occurs. I could put it on the pebble we just got. Must be in a language the caster speaks. The trigger condition may be as broad or specific as the caster wishes. It may include conditions on the enchanted object being touched or in the presence of creatures within 30 feet of the object. The trigger contained may only take visual appearances into account, e.g. it cannot discern the alignment, class, level, etc. of a creature. Once triggered, the mouth appears, animates, and speaks the predetermined message, then ends. This is nothing about the tenor or dialect or like that.
Yeah,
so
okay.
It's a great tool if we need it, you know.
Yeah, it could be a good distractor if we need to lure people away from us. Can you look up that chain of glyphs thing and see what the casting time is?
In OSC, it's a first edition thing, I think.
If the little baby baboons inside the library are activated by sound, you could put the mouth on something and leave it behind to activate on someone else who comes in here if we thought it would be doing something helpful.
All it does is make the baboons run around, repeat what they were saying, and like run around like crazy things. It didn't seem to have any lasting effect that we can tell, Ted. You know?
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
It did make all those cloaked like librarian guys like collapse into a puddle of like, Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of thing.
Yep. So, I have wording chain of glyphs right here on Miro, by the way, so I'll read it real quick. Okay. It is a touch strange spell. I believe the issue is it has some crazy requirements. It's the more powerful version of Cleric's Glyph of Warding. It also comes in an arcade variation. The spell is used to guard exceptionally important locations or objects. Caster traces a powerful glyph on the surface. Maximal number of glyphs is equal to the caster's level, and do a damage according to a chart. So my level is 3, so I would get 3d6 plus 1 damage and 3 glyphs.
It's a scroll.
Oh, half.
Sorry. Isn't it a scroll though? So it's like scrolls are usually 5th level or something.
The scroll is cast at the minimum level of the spell.
Here's the thing. I don't think this is like 2 in the weeds, guys. I don't want to use this. It also requires 1,200 gold and powder gems. I'd rather just go to his room, ambush him, or. I mean, right. I don't want to like get us killed, but I'm saying, I don't want to kill John. Also, with the tedium of spell deciphering. So
you shouldn't need the material components for a scroll. They're all built into the writing of the scroll.
Oh, sure.
That's so when you read the scroll, it casts the spell. It's all pre-built in, but it doesn't. It sounds complicated. Killing things more simply sounds less complicated.
All right. So guys, this is probably going to end in a TPK, but Avaricios is safe somewhere. So let's
lousy so-and-so.
I know. Strategic absences. That's what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and let's see if we can make it to Gerrilad's quarters and at least loot that bitch. But come on.
If we find a magic mace, Matt's not getting it. That's just...
baby.
So are you going to Gerrilad's chambers?
Yes.
Mort will sneak out the door again and check and see if the hallway's clear.
So the hallway to the north is generally clear. However, you can see that there are numerous shadows moving from beyond the well of light towards the north, and you can hear Gerrilad's distinctive. You can hear Gerrilad's distinctive, hard-edged voice addressing. Like, it's like a, kind of ringing out like he's trying to speak loudly from somewhere to the north. You can't quite make out what he's saying.
Throne room.
Yeah, dude. That's a big area to try and bottleneck them, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but it means he's not in his room.
No, that's true. All right, let's go. All right. I was going to say maybe this is the point where we ambush them, but if he's in the throne room, you can cone of cold like half of them and the other half eat us, you know? So,
well, I will say if sorry, David, real quick, if you can look at the map, guys, if we can get to the point where I just put our marker, and there's enough monkeys in that throne room, that is a bottleneck because they can go out the back way and it's a long way around.
I refuse to get into head-on-head combat with any of the monkeys.
Well, I agree.
So I don't think. It's a good idea, but I think our choices are waiting in ambush in Gerrilad's quarters, hoping we don't set an alarm off, or going back and meeting Elizabeth and y'all and trying to use the anti-magic room to our advantage in combat.
Okay.
But that doesn't have to be our only options. But like, I think we want to assassinate, not meet face to face, right?
Nope, absolutely. I guess in my mind, I was picturing him like holding court in like the sunroom. You know what I'm saying? And like that is 100%. Kind of an assassination at that point if you're just like blasting them from like stealth. You know? Yes.
I just don't have faith that I will succeed just because I'm invisible with all those baboons and apes spelling.
You're not invisible too. That's the other thing.
I'm not. You're right.
Ted is invisible.
Yes. So
you are, which is eminently squishable.
All right, okay, let's go to Gerrilad's quarters.
All right, cool. Let's do that.
and I think you should ray of frost that mushroom the second.
Oh, dude.
Hold on. Okay.
We don't know how many charges it has, Ted.
Do you want the thing to start screaming? Do you have something else that will totally obliterate a mushroom in seconds?
I mean, if we're ready for it, maybe we can just kill it as soon as it starts, because it grew, right?
It's like, I think, first of all, there's a door there that we've never looked at. We should listen at.
What, to the left?
Or open right to the east of Gerrilad's chambers is a door we've not looked at. Let's not even listen at it. Just peek. Let's not spend a turn. Let's Darius and Mort. Do you want to like just peek through that door to see if it's a hallway, and then Darius and Mysophaes will get ready at Gerrilad's door to open it. I will. We are going to set this alarm off. I already know it, but it's fine.
So just because Mort could relay it, Mort, you would remember too that when you opened the chamber previously, there was at the southern end of the chamber, across from where you would enter it, there is a pit, and in that pit was where the shrieking could be heard. Nothing was seen, but
we didn't see it in the pit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I could have sworn.
Or if you did, it didn't grow. It didn't grow out.
Okay.
Right. So we could try Mort has some oil. We could try just a flaming oil drop down the hole.
I can't remember if this happened in the room, but maybe what you're remembering, Mike, is there may have been, you may have seen like the tops of like the caps of some very large mushrooms emerge out of that pit, but you don't get the impression that it was the shrieker, right? Like shriekers are pretty well known to dungeoneers as having sort of like those pores all over the thing, that like open up and shriek. It didn't look like that, but there were. I'll give this to you. There were some animated mushrooms like that were like coming out, like very large, coming out of that pit as well.
Okay.
I don't suppose anybody remembers what session that was. I can find my notes.
I think it is frankly a go for it or not situation. I don't think we're gonna brainstorm our way into a delicate.
No, I am just concerned that I guess we go in there and there is no escape, right? Like there is no way out of Gerrilad's chambers. Mm-hmm. So if we set that bad boy off, they're all coming. You know what I'm saying?
Well, which is why we should check through the door to the east first.
Okay.
So
I think that's going to be the kitchen where Big Monkey Guy likes to cook people. Let's check it.
Okay, so so right now what I'm hearing is we've got Mort is invisible, and Darius is Isocritus, and Mysophaes is normal, right? And Darius is carrying the lantern, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, so you carefully move out into the corridor. You could definitely see those shapes like in the north, you know what I mean? And you don't know where other baboons may be hiding. You don't really hear anything except Gerrilad's stentorious voice coming from the north. But the door is right to your east, so do you go through that door?
Yes, we don't have time to listen, boys.
Okay, it's
just
dark
crack
in
it
that
open.
corridor. Your lantern light illuminates beyond, and you see exactly what you saw before. It appears to be a little bit less maintained than probably it was the first time you were here, as if it hasn't really been cleaned or attended to in some time. The corridor I'm talking about.
Okay.
But the doors are all there.
Real quick, guys, I found my notes for that room from when we were in it last time. It says frescoes painted over soothing pale green, botanical and animal images like a jungle grove. There's a hammock, table with a half a statue, pit in the south filled with mulch, redolent with the smells of organic. Piercing shriek comes from the pit. I think it went off the second we went in, so I'm glad we did not go in. Okay. Continue.
Wait, I'm not talking about going into room 14 and opening that door. That's clear, right?
Yes, we're talking about opening the door to the east, right?
Yes. No, in the hallway. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
are you spending any time at that doorway, or are you just opening it up?
We're just opening it.
Opening it.
So you carefully open up that door. It is unlocked. There is a passageway that continues directly east for about another 20 feet before it opens up into a rectangular chamber. You're entering in directly in the middle of the western side of it. It is 20 feet by 20 feet east to west, 30 feet north to south. There does not appear to be any egresses out of that room, except for the one that you would be entering in from. The room is does not appear like anyone has been in there in some time. It's neat. There's a simple wooden cot. There is a brazier there unlit with a store of charcoal nearby, a barrel full of water, and a simple wooden chest. It looks very, very Spartan, but there is no signs of any baboon habitation at all. Yet the door was unlocked.
Yeah, I think this might be Isocritus's quarters.
Could be. Let's quietly close the door behind us and investigate the room. Let's especially investigate the chest.
Yeah.
See if it's a false bottom or anything like that, etc. But
well, the thing about it is I don't that if it's a treasure trap, none of us are good at that, so we can't actually detect anything on that bad boy. So, John, I think what we do is we stand so that trap, so the chest is not like right in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I will use like when we're all onto one side of it, we all hold our breath and then we try and flip the lid of the chest open.
Okay, so the chest is actually not locked, and you flip it open, and nothing jumps out to scare you.
Sweet.
There is some stuff in it. Some of it is glinting.
Okay.
perfect.
Let's look at that.
Okay. I'm also going to say like a turn went by to actually get into this room. Now it'll take a turn to sort through the stuff. So in the chest, it's relatively small. There's some simple clothing, very well made, definitely of Arcantian make, but more of like everyday rather than robes like you're wearing, Darius. There is a silver mirror. It's worth about 10 GP. There is a box made out of cherry wood that is filled with pens, nibs, and materials for ink. There is a pouch that there are two pouches. One pouch is filled with a various assortment of spell components that aren't detailed, but just like a whole bunch of shit you could use for spells. And there's another pouch that contains 25 platinum pieces, modern day platinum pieces. But still, that's 250 gold worth. And that is it. The walls of the chamber, by the way, also bear faded frescoes from Arcantian times that show abstract geometric shapes. There's no actual mention of Thoth in the imagery on the walls.
Perfect.
That appears to be
Can we check for a false bottom in the chest?
Sure. Yeah, I'll say that it's part of the actual search through the thing. You do not find a false bottom. While you ruminate on the contents of that chest, we will take our second break, and we will be right back. Okay, we are back. Beer's full. I think a few bladders empty.
I have my wee little scotch here.
Okay, so you have upended the contents of that chest.
Yes.
I want to
That-
search the mattress, like turn the bed, toss the mattress, split it open with a knife, whatever.
Nope.
So while they're searching,
Okay.
John, they're going to do a really careful search of that room for like hidden notes or anything like that. Like,
Okay.
if this is Isocritus's like quarters, he probably took copious notes that he then stashed somewhere in here. And if they're not in here, then probably Gerrilad took them, or someone else came from Lady Alexia and took them or something, right? But while they're doing that, I'll just listen at the door and make sure and see if I hear Gerrilad or any of the monkeys coming down towards that doorway, so I can give us a warning.
Right.
So I want to look for secret doors.
Yeah, so you're carefully looking. It'll take another turn. You can confidently say that there is nothing else of interest in the room. Darius, when you're listening at the door, you can definitely hear, without having to listen very carefully, a whole bunch of baboons come down the southern passageway.
Okay.
Appear to stop momentarily right at the door that leads to the eastern corridor where you're planted yourself. And then you hear a door open and remain open somewhere out there. And you can still hear like the nattering of baboons, although they're sort of fading away a little bit.
If I have my face pressed to the bottom of the door, John, can I see light?
No, you cannot see any light.
Because Gerrilad needs light. He's not a monkey, right?
He's not a monkey.
Okay. I'm gonna keep watching underneath that door and see if I see like light coming through that door.
We have our lantern off, correct? We don't want any light emitting.
Well,
from
you're
ours.
searching a room. How are you doing that in the dark?
I don't know, but what I don't want is there to be light emitting from any
I'll
crevice in the door.
block the bottom of the door jamb with my body while I'm staring out the door.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
that like mean about light leaking out
All right.
from. Yeah. Yeah. So how long do you want to wait?
We'll wait while they're searching the room. However long that takes.
It takes a turn for them to search the room.
For the two of us to toss the room, looking for secret doors and everything, John.
So in that
Okay.
turn, you can hear the baboons out there, and they're sort of nattering excitedly, but they appear to be quite distant, but still within hearing range.
Yeah. So maybe they're preparing the way for Gerrilad or something. He's returning to his corridors, and
You can confidently say,
Dave.
Darius, that it is likely that the passageway right beyond you is clear, like they're not in that hallway, and that door at the other end of the hallway to the west is probably closed, just based upon how distant and muffled the sounds are.
The door between us and the library is the one you're talking about. This one right here.
Yeah, correct, exactly. Yeah, so it's likely that you could step out without fear of being spotted, but
So
you could
what-
definitely still hear baboons nearby.
wait, so
here's my
something opened and then didn't close, you said, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's probably going to be the door to the north, Ted, going into 14.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
No. What I'm saying is like you heard baboons come down to the south, stop at the door to the east that you guys went through.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you heard another door open, not close, and then the sounds started to dissipate, but you can still hear them generally.
Yes.
So the western door then maybe is what we're talking
Possibly.
about here.
Here's what I think we
okay.
should do. Sorry, Mort. I think I need to steal your invisibility ring if we're going to do an ambush for Gerrilad.
Gulp.
But we don't have to do this. But Mike, if Darius and Mysophase want to, whether you're climbing above or I'm hugging a corner or whatever, go invisible and just perch on the other side of this door in wait as quietly as possible. You can try to stab him if he comes through, and I can try to ice shotgun him if it doesn't work.
Right.
Now, more whether you'd rather be bottlenecked and hiding under the bed, assuming they don't know you're there, just so the character lives, or jump in afterwards is up to you. But I think you would have to be on the other side of the door, waiting in the darkness, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I can stay inside this room, and while you guys are in the hall invisible, and I can have I can be listening at the door, and I can come out and get my licks in.
Yeah, of course. I think. I mean, I don't want to in other words, I don't want to rob you of the ring, but I think in terms of an ambush round, the shotgun is probably more useful.
Oh, I entirely agree. It's not about being robbed of the ring or not having my chance to get my kicks in on Gerrilad. It's more about I was going to run away and leave you all to die.
Should. and I've referenced them before, but in a true Jimmy fashion, I hope you do. One of our favorite long-standing characters from Ted.
Okay, so what are you guys doing?
Okay, me and Darius are going to crack the door open. If we don't see anything, we're both invisible now because I took the invisibility ring.
Okay, you do not hear anything or see anything. You hear baboons, but you did not see them.
Sure. We have turned the light off. Mort is in the darkness of the other room.
I'm still in what we believe to be Isocritus' room, John.
Okay.
I am going to, if it's possible, sit in the corner, the north. I'm going to position my body in the north. My goodness, my brain. East corner of the hall between like the two doors.
Yep.
Shotgun in hand, invisible, basically like this.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Darius, where do you want to try to climb? You said you wanted to try to climb above the door. How tall is the ceiling?
How tall are the ceilings in this hallway, John?
10 feet.
Okay. Are there like door jams or anything like around the doors? Are there anything where I can kind of brace my feet on for like an extended period of time? Like if I wanted to do like a ninja thing where I'm like over the door using my climb shear surfaces.
Using climb shear surfaces. Yeah, I would say so. Normally I say like if you have climb shear surfaces, you don't have to make climb checks. But I would say like if you want to like Van Damme yourself, like up on like the lintel or something like that, then I would require your a successful roll of climb shear surfaces to maintain that position.
That's very reasonable.
The thing is, I'm gonna do that, and I want to try and get be in position to kill anyone that goes in and out of Gerrilad's door. Right.
So you're going to be above Gerrilad's door.
Yeah. And then the other thing is I don't want to activate my cloak until like the last minute because 30 minutes can go by pretty quick if we're just sitting there hanging out in the hallway, right?
I agree. Yeah. The other thing I would say is, as we've done in the past, we should probably smear monkey shit on us to cover our scent.
Yeah, if there's any monkey poop available in the hallway. Okay.
There was in the room to the north, right, though. 14 had monkey shit and a bunch of trash in it. I think John did it.
I don't know.
Why don't I go in there and look for it?
Okay.
You guys stay here in position. I will listen at that door, John. If I don't hear anything, I'll crack it open. And if I don't see any heat signatures in there, I'll go in and look for something smelly.
Are you just vaguely listening or are you taking a turn to listen?
I might as well take a turn because we're all standing here Van Damming over doorways anyway.
Okay. You don't hear anything after a turn.
Okay.
Going through, you have definitely been in here before. You can immediately smell the very, very strong scent of baboon.
Is there like a poop or an old blanket or
there is? Yeah,
so something, right?
There's a straw pallet that's pushed up against the western wall. That's where you found the recipe book, right?
Yeah,
and you also found Tresti's spell book, I believe was not Tresti's.
There's a cook spell book. We don't know.
It was. You found the recipe book and you found an illusionist spell book, which is pretty cool. That's where you found a whole bunch of stuff. And there was a chest there that you found. You found chef's toques, great. And you had you found a magical dagger that was in the form of like a carving knife, basically.
All right.
Which we promptly lost again when we got.
Did, yeah. They took it back.
It is quite evident, though, Mort, based upon the smell, that this was very recently inhabited by a very large baboon.
Okay, so Mort's going to sort of snuffle around the room a little bit, looking for something that's really quite pungent, and like a blanket or tow rag or whatever, and then grab that.
Yeah.
But ideally, something that's not like, "Hey, where's my blanket?" but something that won't be noticed immediately. And then, hand it to Mysophase to keep under his cloak or, on his person so it's invisible, but pungents the hallway.
Yeah, cut it in half and then hand half to me.
Sure.
That's
the other thing, real quick, guys, while you're in there, I don't want to dip our toe too deep. Do you want to look into that doorway?
Door. Might as well listen at the door.
Speaking of which, the map should reflect that there is a very small door in the far northwest that separates that narrow passageway from the.
Oh, it's not actually open. It's a door.
It is a
Okay.
door. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You could just copy that other little one there, David.
I'm using my pen. Sorry, I don't know the other tools. It'll be a little wobbly.
All right. I can go and fix it later.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you will.
So, John, I will listen at this west eastern door in the chef's bedroom. I assume I'm going to hear kitchen sounds on the other side, but I'll listen to it.
So you do indeed hear kitchen sounds. You hear bubbling coming from the other side. You also hear some low chatter, and your pointy ears perk up, Mort, because you can definitely tell that those are they're speaking Goblin from the other side. Yeah.
You can now.
You can also hear what are definitely a few likely male, but coming from different people throats. You can hear like the sounds of struggle, and as if they're trying to say something but can't.
Prisoners.
Yeah, they're gonna eat the prisoners. Yeah. While I'm listening and I hear goblin voices, can I tell what they are saying, or just that they're goblins?
You can't really determine. It's very like low.
Okay. Is this door locked from this side? Can we barred from this side?
You'd have to figure out some way to bar it.
Too many problems. Okay, I'm gonna go back, give the rags to the guys, making sure all the doors are shut behind me, and get back into the Isocritus room and investigate whether or not I can hide in the stone chest if I need to.
The chest is actually pretty small, so unfortunately, even for you,
rats.
you can't.
Under the bed, baby.
Turn goes by for exploring that room, though. But you do apply that stuff within that turn as well. So you guys are all stanky of baboon.
Right.
After you return, looking at your companions, very strangely arrayed in the hallway beyond, the two of you guys, as Mort sort of disappears back into what you assume to be Isocritus' chambers, you can hear the goblins, which are you can definitely confirm now that they definitely went through that western door, because you hear what do you hear? You would hear a large crackling explosion, like a, and then you hear all the baboons like hoot and holler in fear and alarm, and you hear a whole bunch of them like race out into the main north-south corridor and go running away towards the north, as if they were scared to death of something. Like and they're they racing to the north.
That's from the kitchen area that we heard that?
No, that's
the west.
due
All right,
west from the door we haven't checked out.
Why don't I go check it out?
It's a trap. Oh, yeah, sure.
It might be, but if I go up to this door, John, and listen for a moment, and hear baboons running north, I presume.
Yes.
And when I stop hearing them being immediately on the other side of the door, I want to open it a crack and see if I can see anything.
Okay, so when you look outside the door, you do definitely see that there is the door across from you to the west is wide open.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear baboons from the north, and not only that, but when you kind of jerk your head to the right and look, you can see up in that corridor where in the Well of Light room, right when you turn your head to the right, you see a huge four-armed shape, black against the Well of Light in front of it, is picking up bodily with one of its four arms a baboon and smashing it on the ground like that. And you hear all the baboons like go really quiet for a second, and then they all sort of like you can hear them in the Well of Light sort of start to chatter again, like really hushed. They're like, like they're very, very cautious now, like after one of their big guys made an example of them, right? And then you see a slim bipedal form walk around the Well of Light and join that very large baboon. And but you can't really determine what it is, but it looks to be like very much like human-like in shape and size, like very different than the small baboons and the very large four-armed baboons. Mm-hmm. And you hear a mumbled voice, which you assume to be Gerrilad, You can kind of hear it in the tones. Speak with the four-armed baboon, and then both Gerrilad and the baboon start to make their way south. Once again, they are you cannot make out anything about them because they are completely black against the silhouette of the light.
Okay, I'll quietly shut the door. I will warn the other guys, and I'm going to go hide again.
Okay.
Yes.
You first,
David's
Mike.
thinking. Yep.
I just want to know, John, can I make my roll for my Von Dam move?
Yes, please. Yep.
Okay.
What's your chance?
It's 5 and 6.
Okay. Yay.
Bang.
You were officially Van Damned. I'm going to say that it's basically just pure strength to kind of hold yourself up there. What is your strength?
It's an 8.
An 8? Okay, so I'm going to say that you can stay up there for 8 turns.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow, what a strong boy! Climb is the best skill in all of D&D.
boy, no kidding, man.
Okay,
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that for 8 seconds.
We'll get you there.
Okay, thanks, man.
While he's doing that, as a second contingency, I'm going to use my Scroll of Magic Mouth to imbue the magical pebble with a message.
Okay.
The trigger condition, I've never done Magic Mouth before in all my D&D years, so I want to make sure I get this good. It may include, I'm going to read it out loud for everyone. May be as broad or specific as the caster wishes. It may include conditions on the object being touched or in the presence of creatures within 30 feet of the object. The trigger condition may only take visual appearances into account. What I'm trying to do is give us a distraction so that if I flick the pebble, right? I could say like, come on guys, this way, they won't catch us, or some version of that, right? Like as if we're running in a different direction. I also have ventriloquism do that. The thing I'm not clear about is, can one of the trigger conditions be that I trigger it, or is it literally that it has to be like a proximity alarm that goes off?
It has to be a proximity
It has to be a proximity alarm, right? Okay, so
But being visual, you could say it only works if it sees a baboon.
right.
Like it being in your pocket, it wouldn't see a baboon. It shouldn't go off.
Could I say if it sees Gerrilad, right? Like
I don't think it can be that. I don't know if it can be that specific, but I don't know.
Oh no, I can't discern alignment class level. But it can be. You know what? I'm making this too complicated. I'll use ventriloquism if I need to. Let's just wait. Let's wait and see.
Okay. Yeah. Good thinking. All right. So I'm hiding in the Isocritus room. The other 2 guys are now visible, right?
And you know, John, as soon as I see like a door opening, then I can activate Leryl's cloak so that I'm hidden, right? I want to wait until the last minute to do that.
Okay, so
Makes sense.
you guys are all at the other end of that corridor then, with that door shut. Okay, so let's see. You could hear Gerrilad and the four-armed baboon approach where those 2 doors like lead west and east, with the western one open, and they stop there. You can. I don't think you would because the door's shut. You could definitely hear like Gerrilad is talking to the baboon, but you just, he's talking in a normal tone of voice, so you can't really hear what's going on. But then the voice fades as it heads west, and you could hear the big, thick prints of the four-armed baboon also head in that direction.
God damn it.
So something squirrely down that hall. The baboon set off a trap or triggered some arcane effect, ran off screaming. Cisco got mad, killed a baboon, went and told Gerrilad. Gerrilad's coming down to personally check it out. Or it's something that he had set up as a trap for us. Haha. And the baboon stripped it. That's my guess.
Sure. Well, look, a turn is 10 minutes, and you can hang up there for 8 turns, right? So you're up there for 80 minutes. Let's just fucking wait, guys. I'm not gonna take the bait and go there. John, I love it. I want to go there more than anything else. I'm not doing it this time. I'm staying right here.
Okay, so no one's doing anything. You're just waiting for me.
You know what we could do? We could set off the thing in his room, and then he'll come.
Here's what I worry about that is that he will bring his whole army.
I know.
We want him to walk in sort of like, boy, am I tired. Ah.
All right.
We're literally waiting for him to come back to his quarters for rest, essentially.
Yep. Let's go. Let's just wait. John, we're waiting, baby. This is excitement.
Exciting dungeoneering.
Okay, so you wait. You wait. Yeah. Heroes all. Okay,
Who's
so
gonna blink first?
I request all of our audience to break the algorithm, like this episode more than any episode, and insist it was the most action-packed that they've ever seen, just to really confuse anyone who hasn't seen it.
Okay, so after a turn, you hear you can even hear it from where you're at. You hear Gerrilad cry out in alarm, and you can hear whoever the four-armed baboon is also sort of grunts loudly, and you hear retreating footsteps coming from the west.
And the beastmen invading. Sorry,
and then it's pretty much quiet, but you can hear both pairs of footprints head back towards the north.
All right.
I think we got to go, guys. I don't think this is going to pan out for us this time.
He's not going to play it our way. We're going to have to go get him. But at this point, should we just go see what's down that western corridor?
Yeah, let's go. Let's just fucking go. Come on.
I mean, we have okay. Narrative or meta, right? Like we have 7 more turns where you're up there.
I'll make sandwiches.
It does not mean Gerrilad's going to come back, and I'm not trying to torture us either. So if this is just not fun, we don't have to wait here. But if what we want to do is assassinate him and not die, this is the cleanest chance we'll have.
I know.
Yeah. Well, it's more a question of if it's the middle of the day, like maybe he's just not coming back for hours. He's got stuff to do with all of his baboons, and we're going to wait here and wait here and wait here. And a window of escape closes.
Sure. What time is it exactly?
It's now
gotta be like
3 p.m.
Yes. So the likelihood he'll come to sleep is not going to happen anytime soon unless we camped out in Ice's room for 6 hours. So that may be the answer we needed in terms of waiting at his bedroom for an ambush. That doesn't mean we can't ambush him elsewhere. So maybe the next move is figure out where else we would want to ambush him if we do. Or just to retreat. So...
Well,
do you want to check that western door out? Do you want to check out the north door above the cooks and the apes' quarters? What do you want to do?
I kind of want to go see what those goblins are doing personally, but that is not that's mission creep for sure.
I'll redact what I said earlier. Do you want to just open his door and see if it sets off the alarm and he comes running? And then stab him.
No, because I'm convinced.
Let's do it. Come on, let's do it.
They're already on high alert because of something. The alarm goes off in his room. He's bringing his entire army. We might get him. Yeah, he might not even come. We might get him, but we will definitely die. So I would say we either leave the level, or if you guys want to have a little fun, we work our way around the long way and we go try out the teleport circle.
I want to do something crazy, but that's just me, right? I want to have fun. I want to try to kill him. But I'm the guy who doesn't mind dying, so I don't want to doom us here. But
I also think, Ted, that going all the way up to the teleportation circle is like literally the most likely way for us to die. Like, I mean, that is like that's a long way to go, and I don't know. Like, it feels like if we're gonna just escape, let's just escape. But if we're gonna do something crazy, let's do something crazy.
I open Gerrilad's bedroom door.
There you go.
And then I go back into the corner I was and kiss my ass goodbye.
Okay. So yeah, you open the door. And the moment you open the door, you hear like a wee, as like there's a tremendously loud, familiar to Mort, shriek that emanates out from beyond that corridor that leads south from the room. And the moment you open the door too, you were sort of beset by the stench of like not stench, but the smell of like growing and rotting things that kind of comes out of there. It's extremely loud. Do you shut the door immediately, or what do you do?
Say leave it open, dude. Then he can't hear us like breathing or like whatever else.
I would leave it open, and I would open the north door too, as if there was passage egress.
Sure.
Would you do that?
Yeah.
And leave ISO's door closed.
Yes, thank you. Oh my God.
Okay.
Yep. Let's do it.
Okay, so you pretty much immediately after that sound starts, it's very difficult to communicate because it's so loud. You hear the shrieks of baboons and the bellowing of four-armed baboons, and above it all, you hear the voice of Gerrilad shouting to find out who has entered his room, his chambers, and you can hear multiple footprints, and it's who? It's Mizo in the northeast corner. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm scrunched against the wall, probably like crouched like this in that northeast corner, invisible.
Okay.
And covered in shit. Covered, so I smell like monkey, not human. Same with Mike above.
So let's see. Okay. So multiple baboons of all sorts are coming down the southern passageway. And careen, depending, you tell me when to stop. They careen through the eastern door.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
And Mike does something, I assume, at this point.
Yeah, it becomes invisible. You have to become invisible, Mike.
Oh, yeah, I was already invisible. We activated it like before.
No, you said you were going to activate invisibility.
Yeah. Okay, but you go invisible.
Invisible.
So
if they kill me, stay up there. Just stay on the roof until they leave. You do not have to fight them if I die this quick.
Okay. Yeah. So first of all, you don't see Gerrilad. What you do see is you see a very angry and suspicious Cisco, the meanest of them all. I hate that guy. Kind of comes in and he is looking around, and he's got all four of his arms just dragging across the walls, and behind him and in front of him and over his shoulders are all these baboons like Alien 3, sort of like all over the walls, coming down and shrieking. Mizophase, you have just enough presence of mind that behind you through the northern door, from some distance, you can also hear baboons coming.
Okay. What I'm going to do, I presume, okay, or maybe not, but again, I'm not trying to wheedle. The point of ventriloquism is to cast my voice, right? Casting a spell that casts my voice presumably doesn't make sound at the origin point. And
no, the spell is the cast voice, yeah.
I'm going to, and it's 60 feet, which puts me exactly at, because all the doors are open, the western passage where all the electricity was. I'm going to cast ventriloquism and say, "Through here, they're afraid of this hall. Follow me." As if we are running into the western hall towards where that electric sound came from.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So you do have to contend against the constant shrieking, which is a thing.
But the point is true. But the point is the sound isn't here. It's 60 feet away in that other space.
That's not the point. That's not what John's.
I think it's everywhere this shrieking is happening. But I'm just clarifying.
Yeah, like they're bombarded by the spell definitely goes off. It's a question of would they hear it?
I would yell it because the noise is there. So yeah.
Yeah, and then also would they, knowing that the shrieking is still happening in the room, would they decide to investigate there? Anyways. What do you say?
How many monkeys do you think are in the hallway, John?
There appears to be 6 baboons and 1 very large one, and there are more coming from the north. From right beyond the north, like right the northern door. So what did you say exactly again, Mizophase, with the ventriloquism?
Can I modify it slightly?
Yeah.
Is that too easy? I'm going to say as loud as I can with ventriloquism.
Yes.
That's super loud.
That's really loud.
What?
I'm not gonna like try to root for problems.
No.
David,
I'm trying to think of this in like a fun way. It's like a druid. I'm like fictionalizing an object in my mind, but I'm basically going to be like, I got it from his room. Flee to the west, this way. That fool, I got it. As if I like stole his journal or something like that, but I'm not going to specify the object. You know what I mean?
Okay.
As in, like, I'm trying to make it not just that we were running that direction, but it's as if I have something of his that I came for. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Okay. So this is what I'm going to rule. I'm going to say that the baboons, not being particularly more than animal intelligence, will probably go. Their instinct is going to be to investigate the Shrieker, but they will go with wherever Cisco decides to go, who is intelligent. So I'm going to say that Cisco though is a canny creature, and I'm going to give it a straight up 50% chance. So David, you can roll. 1 to 3 is. He is going to pay attention to your voice. 4 to 6, he continues towards the room.
Will you roll it for me? Because it's more fun that way.
Sure. Okay, 1 to 3 is bad. 1 to 3 is good. 4 to 6 is bad. It's bad.
It's bad.
Oh, no, it's good. It's good. 1 to 3 is good. 1 to 3 is good. Yeah, I got a 3. Okay, so he's like storming down the corridor, and he stops and he listens, and he makes like quieting gestures with all 4 of his arms with the baboons, and they're all like, and they're like right in front of you guys, like you two invisible dudes, like like they're right there. Cisco's face is probably like just turning from side to side, like right near, and and some of the baboons are like clapping their paws over their ears because of the shrieking, and he gestures with one of his paws towards the west, and they move off in that direction.
Here's what I'll say too, guys: the shrieking, which appears to be ubiquitous to the dungeon, helps us because it dampens our noise.
That's what I know.
Leaving the door open is a good idea, but it also, not that John would have to do this, but it's more incentive for Gerrilad to be like, I'm tired of this fucking shrieking. I'll go close my door if these idiots don't. Right? Mm-hmm. So I still think we should wait some, if you agree.
I agree.
Okay. So as they move off towards the west, you can hear from beyond the northern door, right beyond you, Misophase. You can hear a door beyond that door open up. And you hear a strangled goblin voice cry out in pain and then suddenly silence with a huge thud. Okay.
Oh, it's like
then the door right next to you bursts open, slamming into you, Misophase. Enough to make you jump, but not enough to give away your position. And another 4-armed baboon comes barreling out, and he's wearing a huge chef's toque on top of his head with a dirty apron. And then
already
crawling over his shoulders and between his armpits, his multiple armpits, is another 6 baboons that emerge into the chamber.
John, just worth saying it out loud, because the door opened into me, I'm going to like use it as cover essentially. I'm invisible, but I want to make sure that like I'm behind it, right? As much as I can.
Yep. They immediately, unless you guys do something, they immediately move into Gerrilad's chamber, which you guys left open, right? So they go between Darius's Van Dand legs and into that chamber, investigating it. And you can see them, you can hear them. They disappear from view, Misophase. You would be able to see them through that corridor that leads into that room southwards, but then they disappear around the corner, and you can hear them hooting and grunting and in confusion. You continue to wait?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
What are we going to do?
They come back
Unless
out.
You want to go in and shotgun them as they're coming out, David. I mean, that's the only other option right there.
I'm waiting. A thought has occurred to me. If Ted's supposition is correct about warding chain having the components included within it, which is that if they leave the door open and there's no one in there, I'm going to cast it into the room on his bed while they're gone, because they won't hear me saying the spell components with the
one thing you got to be sure of though, buddy, is that if you cast that spell, is it going to break your invisibility? If it breaks your invisibility, you're done. You're shit canned.
I don't know the rules of the ring. I think as long as the other person's blind, I'm invisible, right?
No,
it's not like
invisibility will get broken if you attack.
Okay,
but it's just casting a spell. It's not an attack.
Yeah, that's
You're talking about. He's talking about leaving a ward behind for later, right? The wards don't go off immediately.
They don't go off immediately.
assuming you're waiting, then they
Let's see if they leave. Yeah.
they come back out. They look very, very confused, and or at least Irsko, the chef baboon, looks very, very confused. You can hear another baboon grunt from out towards the west. You assume it's probably Cisco, and Irsko looks at his, turns his head that direction, and makes like a gesture towards him. And then he, with two of his other arms on his right-hand side, he directs a couple of the baboons to the eastern door, which beyond is where Mort is. To go check that. And he has a couple of the baboons stay exactly where they are. So there's basically, here's what's going on. There is one baboon. No, I'm sorry. There are two baboons that are going to be entering through the eastern door. And there are 4 baboons that are going to stay directly right where you guys are standing, like guarding Gerrilad's entrance, like right there. And then Irsko moves towards the west to meet up with Cisco, who has moved back into the main north-south corridor, like right where the doors are. That makes sense?
Irsko went with Cisco.
They're in the north-south corridor.
Yes, right between the 2 doors.
The baboons are here.
There are 4 that are right next to you guys, and there are 2. Well, there's actually 6 that are right next to you guys, and 2 are about to enter the door where Mort is.
And Mort is hiding under the bed, correct?
Yes, but Mort is hiding as best he can in that room with not much in it. But he has been like Frodo toying with the ring. Mort has been getting ready to drink a potion for a while. He's got a potion that he believes is a polymorph self.
Okay, the door's open, and two baboons enter.
Then he drinks it and hopefully turns into a 4-armed baboon.
Okay.
Oh, little baboon.
No. Be like a mouse. Be a mouse. Don't be a baboon.
Oh, I want to rip apart another baboon.
I do too, but they know each other, so they'll know you're not one of them. Sorry to micromanage you, but like, I don't want you to die. Cockroach, fly.
I don't think I can become something as small as a mouse with that. I'm not sure about the size things on it. But John, the spell or the potion in question was recovered from the vault chamber underneath the gladiatorial school. It was a viscous. Hold on, where'd the note go?
What are you asking? Are you asking if it's polymorph self or not?
I'm trying to confirm it. Yeah, it's
never
a viscous.
been identified.
Viscous. We taste tested it. Viscous reddish orange.
But you're drinking it, right?
Yeah, I'm drinking it.
So it doesn't matter. So you, so basically you can change it into anything you want, any creature you want, but it can't be higher than the caster's level. So it's a 4th level spell, which means that the minimum would be, 4th level would be a 7th level. So you can't be anything that's higher than hit dice 7.
Be a spider, dude. Be a spider and just crawl up on the ceiling, dude. And you're on the ceiling anywhere you want.
There might be size restrictions and shit.
Yeah, that's what I was
I'm reading it right now.
There isn't.
Yeah. There isn't.
Oh. Well, then I want to be a dinosaur.
Okay, I'll permit
it. So you can only be a certain kind of dinosaur because you cannot exceed 7 hit dice. Most dinosaurs are higher than that. It's also time to quit, so we need to decide soon what you change into.
Oh man, Velociraptor. No, you know what? I've been really wanting to turn into a baboon, but David is right. The smart move here is turning into a mouse or
spider if you want spider
or something like that. Yeah. So, I'm ashamed to say.
I just want you to live.
Yeah, I do too. Don't tell the other warriors what I did. I'm going to turn into something. Yeah, I'm going to turn into a spider.
Okay, you turn into a spider. And let's see. I have to roll a thing here. Hold on.
I should have been a baboon. Damn it. Oh.
Well, if it's any consolation, you could not have turned into a baboon. Put it that way.
Not even a regular one?
Oh, you could turn into a normal one. Yeah. Turn into a normal one?
No. The spider is the The smart move.
Okay, so you turn into a little spider. Okay, and we will leave it there. So you two of you guys are invisible outside. Mort is basically invisible as well in the other room. So there are 4 regular baboons that are basically just planted themselves on guard. Obviously been ordered by Ersko to stand guard in front of the chamber. 2 of them are in the room with Mort, and then you have 2 4-armed baboons blocking your immediate escape out to the north as well. So they don't see you. You had a very good plan, but you are fairly thoroughly trapped at the moment.
I love it. What a great cliffhanger. Perfect.
So yeah, we'll leave it there. So fortunately, you weren't able to discover what happened with Trefco, but maybe time for that in another episode. We'll see. So anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. There you've been watching 3D6 Down the Line, most criminally underwatched actual play on the internet. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to sign up for our Patreon. All the money that we collect from that every month goes straight back into the channel, and we do appreciate the ongoing support from all of our explorers, delvers, and conquerors. Of course, most thanks go out to those very same conquerors. Mike, take it away with who those fine folks are.
And I remembered it at the last minute, John, and pulled that list up. So
Nice.
Our conquerors are, and I'm going to murder this one, Kobrowskis, Declan Koneski, Chad Cartier, Magic Meat Machine, Dale Brady, Tom Leary, Phil, G Tokyo Time, Terry Barney, Mando NZ, Faisal, James Doig, Robert Valdez, Eric Lawson, Grunt, Andrew Schroker, MM, Michael Schilling, Stefano Di Maiolo, the Hex Brawler Twins, Summon Toast, Adam the DM, Jib Cutter, Scott Yearsley, Mech Jack, Kick Maniac, Dire Grew, not Matt, but not least, Matt Mason, Matt Gardner, Matt Koenig, and Matt Young.
The Mats. Woo! All right. Thank you, as always, Conquerors, for your ongoing support, and the rest of the patrons as well. And also, don't forget to check out our first published work, Feats of Exploration, which is an awesome system that we are using currently to tack on to the existing XP reward systems. And you can use it in any OSR level-based game. So go check that out on Drive Through RPG. It's pretty fantastic. We are very proud of it. So with that in mind, have a great week, everybody, and we will see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, John.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, John.